welcome to Master Powercast. Once again, another Filmation episode review. Prince Adam no more. So with this one, we're going to learn the importance, not only of the secret identity, but the drawbacks that can have. Every once in a while, that just rears its ugly head to show you why it is as important as we discuss all the time here on this show.
And why other endeavors who decide they want to do something about He-Man should say, fuck the secret identity. Our audience are fucking morons.
Yeah.
They're meat with eyes. They're tree stumps, and they love cake. They're not going to care about such things.
Written by Paul Dini once again. So just seeing the name here alone, you know that you are in for a good time. So Tyler, first time checking out this episode.
I have vivid memories of this.
I figured you did.
Oh yeah, this was I rented this from King Video, which was right across the bridge in the Kroger Plaza on a Saturday night, and it was a tape I had never had come across before at that point. I'm like, what is this? And pick it up, look at the back of it, and see Beastman bear hugging Prince Adam and Randor smacking one of the robot knights. Excuse me, I was going to say hover robots. I was trying to say hover robots and robot knights. And was just so intrigued by this, and like always, hoping, what if Fisto's going to show up in this episode? And it was also split with the Taking of Castle Grayskull was the 2 episodes that were featured on this tape. So it was a big Saturday night to go home and watch it. And as soon as you open up, and oh my God, Beastman's being thrown out at Snake Mountain. What the fuck?
Yeah,
like that was about 6 years old watching this and seeing that for the first time, and then seeing everybody, Triclops, Trapjaw, Merman, Evelyn, and Beastman all at the council table. And I was like, this is big news, man. This is something I had just, because I'd watched so many of the tapes over and over again, had never seen anything like this before. So it was a big impressionable episode on that Saturday night, watching Beastman being thrown out of Snake Mountain, and what would happen with Prince Adam later on really hit me as I got older. It seemed to resonate with more as a teenager and in my early 20s too, of what Prince Adam's going through, and not taking it so much oh my God, he is kind of fed up with being He-Man. It didn't click with me as much, when I first saw it, but since then it's one of the most powerful moments in the entire series. I think some people want to say problem with power. I say, fuck no. I would put this as probably Adam's biggest moment / He-Man of that conflict of
the doubt setting in,
the doubts, the responsibilities, and what you have to put up with, the insults, the criticism for the greater good. And that's why and it goes across the board with everything that revolves around superheroes and secret identities and responsibility, and why people just feel we don't have time. We're working on all this silly shit. It's you don't get the concept of what makes this character so memorable. He continues to transcend through the decades of why he continues to resonate with everybody, because of things, especially that core key component of character development, the things they have to go through, that even though they have saved the world, when they're done with it, they're gonna get a lot of shit from their loved ones, or broken a date, or parents are disappointed in you. That's what makes great character development. This is what hardens that character, and it makes them relatable, because we all go through tough times.
Yep. Well, and we all have to make sacrifices in certain ways that end up disappointing people that we love. So, yeah, 100%.
They don't know the big picture, and that's what makes the He-Man Prince Adam dynamic the best ever. I mean, obviously you have others with Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and so on and so forth, but this is why He-Man always is going to be number one with me, because it's the most relatable to me. And Paul Dini really got this character, as much as as we mentioned before, he likes to pretend like he never worked on the show. But boy, he got the character and wrote some of the best episodes of the series. It's a shame he didn't write as much as Larry DiTillio or Robbie London.
It's kind of how, in a weird way, though, that's kind of the type of person that I guess you would have wanted working on that they're going to do a good job, even if it's not something that they were particularly keen on, having any sort of excitement before, during, or all these years after the fact when they discuss it.
Because and obviously you had others who are really big into the sword and sorcery, they bring those ideals to this series, which was always welcome. But to have that superhero mentality put into a show with a barbarian with a secret identity, like, yeah, it just adds this extra layer of significance of why this character is so important and why that secret identity, yeah, it's fun to tease it. Maybe a choice selection of people would ever know, as they already do in this show, but you never want to throw it out because, well, it makes it hard to write. Well, be a better writer.
Mm.
They've been doing it in comic books for years, and yeah, that's why I feel like some lazy writers decide, we're just gonna have everyone's gonna know, no big deal.
Yeah,
because it's just too hard, or I'll say it's just they don't want to take the time to write those moments of sacrifice that these characters have got to go through.
Right. Yeah. It's a shame, but I guess on one hand too, you can take those and put the focus elsewhere we can put these people in immediate danger and work it that way. But much like you, I also prefer the secret identity. But moving on here, directed by Gwen Wetzler, and you were talking about Beastman here at the beginning. So this is how the episode starts. We pan over to Snake Mountain. At this point, Skeletor, he's kind of fed up with everyone, it seems like, but Beastman is front and center.
I just take it as like we'll find out, because Merman's like, what the hell did he do anyway? As it opens up with Beastman just like, babe, don't throw me out of Snake Mountain. Skeletor just like, I've had enough of your shit. Mm-hmm. And then you come to find out he hasn't done anything. He-Man's just defeated Skeletor one too many times, and Beastman, like always, has been the whipping boy of Snake Mountain. He's the most loyal of Skeletor's henchmen, and obviously takes the most shit. Skeletor's, dished out shit to everyone at that table, but Beastman has taken the most. And, Skeletor, being the well-written asshole that he is, disregards the fact that Beastman has been with him since the beginning, Yeah. And it doesn't matter, I think, and I don't know if he just sees Beastman is the weakest of the bunch to pick on, but probably the easiest and the one who's not going to argue back about, like, what, I'm pissed off, I'm fucking fed up with losing and being embarrassed, and I got to take it out on somebody. But that's not how Skeletor thinks,
Yeah, I guess when you're comparing to who's in the room here, Beastman more than likely kind of is, I would say, the bottom of the pecking order.
And it's not a, now later on, he's, because this is the apex of the character. His character will never get any more. This is the swan song for the character. Like, he'll have some moments in other episodes, but for the most part, once you get past here and into season 2, outside of those first early moments he's written, is just a putz. Like, oh God, just horrible. And the Reverend James Neatalk would wholeheartedly agree with that. But
it's awesome to see Triclops here.
Oh God, yes, that again. He's my favorite of the original Fab Five, and to see him at the table, even if all he's doing is just talking, I like that moment when him and Merman are kind of speaking quietly. And Merman's like, "What's he done anyway?" He's like, "Nothing. He's just tired. Skeletor's just tired of having his ass kicked by He-Man. He's taking it out on poor old Fuzzface." And saying, "Just be thankful it's not you down there." Like, I like that camaraderie with the evil warriors. Like, there is a friendship. Like, yeah, they're allies. They work together for Skeletor. They're getting paid to work for Skeletor. They believe in what he's doing, but they still have this camaraderie that I'd like to think about. And you'll see later on in this episode too, with Beastman and Merman. But I just, it's moments like that I wish we'd gotten more of, where, they're evil, but they're also buddies. And I like those little touches that just, it's a little extra flavoring in the sequence that most people don't even think about,
Yeah, but it's awesome that you think about it as much as you do. Here, Skeletor's, go ahead, give me your whip.
Takes his whip, Beastman, and just ties it in a knot and throws it on the ground and laughs in his face.
But here on the screen, he looks like he is a Canadian from South Park. So,
oh yeah. Hey, buddy. Hey, Beastman, buddy, give me a buddy.
I'm not your buddy, guy.
Yeah, I'm not your fan, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your fan, buddy. And
So
yeah, and just obliterates his seat at the council table, which
yep.
I think at that time I never heard it referred to as anything other than I didn't know what to call it as a kid. So when he says the council table, like, okay, all right, there's a name for this chamber where they all hang out, look at the hover screen and plot and connive,
Yeah. And at this point too, Beastman's gonna say, "You're gonna get yours. I will. You'll see."
Yeah.
Give him the old
He's like,
Stevie
I'll
Richards.
show you the true power of Beastman. And Triclops like looks at Merman like they're all just sitting in silence. They're not going to question. They're not going to say anything. They're watching one of their buddies like he's making his last stand before Skeletor really embarrasses him and hits the switch and sends him down the trapdoor.
Yeah, little
like you haven't seen the last of me.
Yeah, yeah. He says that I love how he's mid sentence as the door opens up.
You haven't seen the last of me. He just goes down, probably out to the blood falls. And, all right, off with you.
Meanwhile, we catch up here with Duncan and the attack track. Orko's there. And this is when we're given the knowledge that King Randor is going to go on a tour of Eternia. And Orko's saying, "Oh, we?" And Man-at-Arms saying, "No, it's just going to be me. And then someone that Randor is going to choose," which at this point...
Is what, as a kid, I thought, like, is he going to pick Fisto? Yeah, just because I hadn't seen Fisto in any episode up to this point. So I was very excited, like,
I mean, that would be a fantastic choice, but Adam is sitting here saying that he's hoping that his dad is going to choose him, and this, don't know how that's going to work out for him. But Orko being Orko, he gets inside the attack track. Things go awry. The attack track goes off on its own and starts doing its own thing.
It recognizes Orko is not a program pilot for the attack track, so it goes off on its own because if Merman were to jump in, it would recognize him as an intruder and just go ballistic, just go, just go crazy.
Yeah, so we have it going kind of in all directions. The blasters at the top are shooting out, and they're having to duck. Orko, of course, making things worse. Let's go ahead, transform. I
think we need a little help.
Yeah, which when I watched this, because I watched this years ago too. I think I've probably watched snippets because we've had to use it for other episodes, pieces of this along the way. But when I heard that bit, I can just picture you sitting there watching, just be like, "Yeah," like you do.
Still, I still like that. There's moments in this episode, like when I watch, I get pumped. Like I think a moment in this episode is when it's one of those most like, I'm like, oh, I'm grabbing a vein for it here, dude. It's you get so psyched up for certain moments, and one in particular in this episode.
No diminishing returns for you, but this angled shot here that we have is the attack tracks coming.
Yeah, it's cool.
Forward. Yeah, it's just used a couple times in the sequence, and I really enjoyed that because anytime watching these episodes, I'm seeing something that I don't see as much.
It's out of the stock sequence.
Yeah, it's out of the stock. So I'm always like, I like and really enjoy the way that one looks. But at this point, Randor's like, what's going on? and Man-at-Arms
blast right past his crown there,
and he doesn't really react to it too much. And Man-at-Arms is saying, "This is what's going on. Looks a little blurry here, but this is when He-Man jumps in, throws his power sword through there, kind of locks the wheels." Hops in.
I think there's a skip too because Randor does duck after he's being shot at.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He does duck. But I mean, it was kind of sort of nonchalantly too. Like he's like, okay, yeah, sure, I guess. But this sequence here, I guess when some people watch it and you see the way that he's moving, looks a little precarious, but it's just
that's only because of VH1, so fuck them.
Yeah, which we will also Tyler mentioned it towards the beginning when Beastman has He-Man. I think that was the other one that they've used.
They used several moments from this episode, so yeah.
We won't linger on. We won't linger on that
still
part.
Lingering on the internet today.
Yeah, and we won't linger on it either. But I just wanted to point that out that when you see the movements, it might kind of make you go back and remember that segment.
Well, hopefully you don't remember. And don't go look that shit up and give those assholes any more, screen or recognition.
Yeah, whoever managed to rip it off a VHS recording, more than likely, and upload it to YouTube. But He-Man hops inside, it gives his a voice, and it is recognized, so everything comes to a halt, and we're all good.
Orca's being punished, so he's going to fix the treads on the attack track.
Yeah, but I do like this little bit here, because it's almost like he's just taking out his frustrations on it anyway, even though he's supposed to be fixing it.
Yeah, because he's just speaking in frustration, so it's all just gibberish because he can't get anything clear out.
Yeah, it reminded me, when I heard it, it reminds me of Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when all the shit's going down.
Yeah,
which was kind of their way of getting around him, basically being Joe Pesci in Casino.
Yeah.
So at this point, Randor walks up, and him and He-Man have a pleasant conversation. And he tells him what great things he's been doing. We see a shot here at Critters. This is all we get in this particular episode. There is no Battle Cat or nothing going on here. And oh man,
that's when Adam is feels confident that Randor is going to pick him to be his honor guard, essentially. And Man-at-Arms just tells him, like, sometimes he hasn't been too pleased with you. He's like, look, I get it. I have to act like an idiot a lot, but it's only for the greater good of keeping my secret identity.
Mm-hmm.
And Man-at-Arms knows that. And it's not like, and people, if you haven't watched this, he's not saying it to address that, yeah, Adam, you act like an idiot. Like, I know you have to do that. But at this point, you shouldn't be expecting him to be wanting to pick you to go on this trip because of what you have to do. And he's trying to save Adam's, feelings, because he's convinced, like, there's no way your father's going to pick you on this trip. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And you know why.
And the next scene, that's when the news is broke to him that, hey, I want He-Man to do this. Man-at-Arms, can you know how to always find him and get a hold of him? Can you let him know? And
yeah, when Adam says, I thought we'd make this trip together, Father, he's like, really? Well, you've never shown interest in state affairs, and I'm sorry, son, but I'm afraid I need someone with a lot more experience and more reliable.
Mm.
And the music that plays when Adam drops his head, he goes, I see. And this moment here with the sorceress, this is one of the most finest and most well-written moments of the entire series, with the music and the sorceress written to perfection, of just being this, not only the guardian of Grayskull, but a motherly figure to Adam. Someone that the only person outside of Duncan and Orca that he can go and vent to about anything.
And I don't have it here because it skips ahead, but the look on his face.
Yeah, when he conveys to the sorceress, and this is one of the best bits of dialogue written.
I'll try. I'll back it up to where we can actually get it and we can see his face. Yeah, there we go.
I mean, hell, I can just quote it too. I can just, like, you want to put like the face up. I can just run the whole dialogue.
Oh, right. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's do that.
There it is. Yeah. That's the face of, like, Adam is, I'm tired of being a joke to my father. Like, for a long time I've had the power of He-Man, but to keep that power a secret, I've had to be careless and irresponsible. And more than anything, I want to give up that disguise and make my father proud of me. And then he hangs his head, and the sorceress, being the sweet spirit that she is, like, I understand your sorrow, Adam, but you must understand must recognize the responsibility this power brings. And that if Skeletor or anyone else were to find out, they would not rest until they've destroyed you or the ones you love. Like, that's storytelling.
That's it. Yeah, that's the basis of Secret Identity. Like, that dialogue right there sums it all up perfectly, why it needs to exist.
And that's what makes this character so fucking compelling, because it's Adam trying to maintain being a human being, living up to these responsibilities, and also realizing I have got to go save the planet again. It's spur of the moment, 24/7. I'm not off the clock. He's lucky if he can go through the night and get a decent sleep. if he's on a date with, Lady Amanda or something like that, he's got to break dates. He's got to look like an idiot in front of Tila. Like, can you imagine every single day of your life, you're disappointing somebody, whether it's your parents, a date, close friends, allies. You've got to take a lot of shit to keep those same people safe from the Lord of Destruction, the Horde, the Snake Men, and anyone else who wants to come and start shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you motherfuckers in Hollywood don't fucking get it, do you? I got a pile of shit you all can eat.
Beastman is over here being a sad sack.
This is a good moment too. Like,
it is.
Beastman surrounded by Shadow Beast, and he's just a broken Beastman, And they're sad for him. The Shadow Beasts are like, they sympathize with him as he's venting, like, where does Skeletor get off pushing me around the way that he does? And then he's building himself back up, and they're like, yeah, you're still Beastman. Yeah. And that face he made, like, that creeped me out a little bit as a kid when he made that face. Like, not like, oh God, covered my eyes, but it was like, ooh, boy, he's pissed.
He's going to have nightmares. This is a weird looking squirrel. What is
that? Hey, give me Bushtail is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do love this. He yells at it, bring me down that fruit. To make it snap, he's like, all right, here you are, asshole, and throws it right in his fucking face. And the Bushtail even makes an angry face, like, oh, shut the fuck up.
It's like in basketball.
Yeah.
Sure does suck to be Beastman right now.
Yeah.
But then he
certainly does tend to be raining shit on Beastman.
Yeah. But at this point, he takes notice, and the attack
track. What's that? And as we cut to the interior of the attack track, and Randor's giving Adam some shit. It's like, look, you weren't supposed to be on this trip. He-Man was. And I'm not going to put up with your nonsense. Your adolescent behavior is like, no, we're not doing that. You're not going to be an embarrassment to me on this royal tour. Excuse me.
And I kind of wonder what Randor would specifically be doing on this tour. You think it's just him going to various locales, strictly just a visit? Do you think it's anything in terms of strategies against Skeletor, maybe some peace discussions or anything of that like?
I took it as that the various cities, kingdoms that surround the royal palace overseas, he's going and meeting, like, what can we do to help out? Like, what are you guys, what kind of current issues? Like, do you need any support from our heroic warriors? Can Man-at-Arms come up with something to help you guys with your farming? Asking it, what kind of support can the Royal Palace provide for you all? Just is almost like a goodwill, going around and just making a presence known that, I may not be here every day, but we know who you are. We know what you're going through. And I want you to tell us, what can we do to help make you a more prosperous, area? Is there anybody giving you trouble? That kind of thing, and yeah, maybe just catching up with people as well too. So
I could see that being a thing of just some villagers or any other people living in different towns or different cities being maybe disgruntled with the king and thinking that he's not doing his part and doing a good job, and running into hostile territory with people that are just angry with him for things that have happened that is, I would say, mostly out of his control, but they always feel the need to put the blame on someone. So,
well, when he is running the show and you're relying on one man, that's why it's so important when you get people like Buzzoff and Mechanic and Cyclone and Mossman start joining the ranks, and you're making allies with the B people and Stratos and the people of Avion. Like, you're building allies so you guys can all unite as one big front against invaders and Skeletor. So I think just going around and just making your presence known, if you have problems the way I'm ruling, please let me know, because Randor starts with the type who's not afraid of any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So if there is a village that is disgruntled with the way things have been handled, that they're getting ransacked by royal invaders or something like a harsh tribe to the north, they're coming in and they have no way of contacting Randor, like, we need help. Like, how can we contact you, for you to send He-Man or send Buzz Off and Mechana out here to help us out or something like that. That's what I feel like this whole Royal Tour would be about. How can we better the places of Eternia?
And if things, as you mentioned, get too hostile, as we will see here later in this episode, Randor's got a good hook.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, a good left hook. And oh boy, Beastman is recognized who's in the attack track. He-Man's not there, and if he were to capture them, Skeletor would gladly take him back. So, all right, guys, we've got work to do.
And then, as this is all going down, it reaches the point where Adam has to, obviously, and it gets mentioned in a bit of dialogue here, he's not going to transform into He-Man in front of his dad. So this is Prince Adam trying to do what he can do. And this here is when we get the bits, as we mentioned, that was used for VH1. So yeah, you got that, but they've all been captured. Man, look at Randall right here.
Yeah, quite frightening. And also, I took it as Adam feeling like, look, I'm skilled, I've been trained, and look, I'm fucking He-Man. I should be able to help and defend my father and Man-at-Arms from these shadow beasts. Unaware that Beastman's calling the shots here and thinking that he can do this on his own, gets him in fucking trouble and gets his father captured. Instead of like running off into the woods and transforming, he decides to do it on his own because he's trying to live up to the standards that his father has set, and is pretty much sealed the fate of this royal tour here. And Beastman threatens, like, you're going to bring all the gold from the palace to Snake Mountain tonight. Do as I say, or the king will never leave Skeletor's dungeon. And to make sure you don't follow us, he freezes both of them.
Yeah, which is a good tactic, because this keeps them incapacitated long enough for them to get far away to where, I mean, obviously, Adam knows where they're going to be going. I'm sure.
He's like, look, you're coming to Snake Mountain, like, with the money, thinking
that's
Adam,
true. Yeah. But one thing that Beastman is not going to count on, as we will see here later when Adam transforms into He-Man. Obviously, He-Man kind of knows his way around a little bit. He's been around enough. He knows how to get in. He's
familiar with the grounds, And this is just seeing this whole sequence of Beastman relishing in his victory. I have captured the King of Eternia.
It's a fun moment for him, because having these other characters that aren't Skeletor having these victories as big as this, even if it's just for a little bit of time, it's nice to just see this character and other characters of his ilk get that time to shine.
Yeah, and he's written with a lot of malice, like he's relishing to the king's face, right this way, your majesty. And he's like, and when your son comes tonight, I'll get him and all your gold too. And just like the deck has been stacked, against everybody here, at least in Beastman's mind. And he has every right to savor this moment and laugh in Randor's face. You're not. It's like, who's going to stop me? That weakling son of yours?
Mm-hmm.
And then Randor hangs his head like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, he knows he's fucked right now. Like, there's nothing he can do at this point. And it's good. And I love Beastman. It could be taken either way. Either he's gotten such a big ego, he forgets about the alarm system, or says, fuck it. I'm going to walk right in through the alarm system. I want them to know someone's here. Hoping Skeletor's going to walk out.
I'm going to go with the fuck it part. I don't think he's not thinking about it. I think he knows what he's doing. Right?
Yeah. And I feel like this is his way of like hoping everyone at Snake Mountain is going to come out and see, look what I fucking did.
Yeah. So the alarm goes off. Merman notices it. And then as they have the conversation here, Merman say, no, they are out in space right now.
Destruction mission out in space, which I've always liked to think was a precursor to the Shadow of Skeletor. When they're going to the two moons of Eternia, like they're on reconnaissance, like how can we start war between these two moons?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like a good bridge between. It's like, yeah, this is what they're doing, and it's going to lead into
that episode. Yeah. That's what I've always liked to think about. And plus to think too that they're doing something that He-Man is completely unaware of and won't stop. So it's either reconnaissance or an actual mission of destruction that is successful that no one is there to stop. It's that little bit of dialogue that shows that He-Man can't stop everything that Skeletor does, let alone everyone else that's an evildoer on the planet.
Yeah, he can't be everywhere.
No. And so Merman is quite like taken aback. Oh my God, like you captured Randor? Like, well, Skeletor's definitely gonna take you back now. And they said, well, let's lock up our guests and celebrate my return. And I just love that camaraderie. Like Merman's like, way to fucking go, man. Like, yeah, let's go get some food and some wine. We're gonna get fucking drunk.
The freeze ray has worn off. They've come to, and at this point,
this is one of my all-time favorite moments, and this is probably Man-at-Arms' best written moment of the entire, in my opinion. Is that he's like, why didn't you turn to He-Man, lad? Like, I wanted to show my father that I could be a hero too, but I failed. And he stops and he's like, look, son, you were given He-Man's power for a reason, to help others. No one ever said you can use that power to make yourself happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big lesson right there. And I love that about when Man-at-Arms was written like that. That's a character that's like, oh my God, like you have to have this character. He has to be written this way. Like he's there to help guide Adam in a way that his parents could never do, you know, because of this responsibility. That's what makes him such a key component to this mythology. And when Adam says, I know that now, and I know what I have to do, and I get goosebumps when I hear the transformation kick into high gear because of that moment of recognizing how important and significant this responsibility is, that I've got to keep my ego in check as Adam because shit like this will happen if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
You people out there fucking get this.
I like the fact too that they have this stored in the back of the attack.
I do too. Yeah, having the sky sled ready to go, man, and then it just unloads, like the head comes out. And
I love I love the little
front.
Yeah, I love the transformation sequence of that. It's a fun little bit, because normally you just see it and it's just they're off and they're going. So to see it, just we have this with us as well. And he tells Man-at-Arms, you stay with the attack track. I'm gonna go on.
This is a mission He-Man should tackle himself. Like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Look at the fucking Beastman here. Sitting in the throne.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because it would be epic in this moment if Skeletor and the rest happened to walk in and Skeletor, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing sitting in my bone throne?
Yeah.
You know, but just drinking, they're whooping it up. They're having, you know, what looks to be a very good, hearty meal. And just, it's a fun moment for Beastman and Merman as allies and friends here to, like, you know.
You did it, man.
You did it, man. Like, no one, Skeletor hasn't done that. And still wanting to talk about, you know, I'm surprised you came back, considering the way you were treated. Like, you had every right to say, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go out on my own. I could capture King Randor and go after the throne myself. But he wanted to come back because he had a chip on his shoulder. Yeah. And with good reason, you know, to prove that I'm not incompetent. I'm not the weakest of your crew just because I'm the most loyal and been with you the longest. I'll show you. And I love the music that plays when He-Man just arrives and just strolls right into Snake Mountain, like, so confidently, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's just like he's there on a mission. Like, I'm not here to fuck around. I'm not here to boast, chit chat, talk. I'm here to get my father out here and get the fuck out.
Yep. And he notices the trip alarm. Yep. Jumps over that. Though I would have to watch this part again. It kind of looks like just the way that they have it angled and he does it. It almost looks like he clips through it, but he clears over it. So he's as they're boasting and boasting here.
This is a cool shot of Merman. Yeah. Like, did you hear something? That's your imagination. Quit worrying. Still feels like the need to check. And there's He-Man just waiting for him to go back into the council chamber.
Yep. So as he does,
a cool moment of you know, undercover work here. Not undercover, but he's sneak. It's
being stealthy.
Breaking and entering. Yeah.
Yeah, being stealthy.
Yeah, so being stealthy. That's it. Yeah.
As we have these different gel cells. We see this a couple times. I'm like, oh, all right.
What? There's a creature in Beastly Sideshow that is just referenced by name called Octobeast.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, like, wonder if that is the Octobeast. You know, I mean, grant it's not name checked or anything like that, but I like to always connect this stuff together. You know, like just kind of is like a jigsaw puzzle that could fit together, but it's not like interchangeable Legos. You know, like Legos from different sets and things like that, and just make one big elaborate, you know, piece of like Lego, you know, whatever the fuck.
It's like poetry, you know.
So yeah, so it rhymes, you know, except it's good poetry, not like what George Lucas writes.
So we have this creature that the tentacle comes out at this point. Randor's like, "Hey, over here." He goes over
and just pulls the fucking door off.
Yeah, just rips the door out.
And that's when he realized, like, oh my, well, and that's where the alarm goes off, and it's like, I'll have you out of here back to safety before the others know you're gone. And like, oh, well, then again, and then Merman and Beastman alerted to it and unleash what are called in this episode hover robots instead of robot knights. So I prefer robot knights, but it's kind of like a tomato kind of thing. And some people call these things hover robots, others call them robot knights.
Yeah, I could either or.
Yeah, they work. Either name works.
Yeah.
But
now we get to see Randor.
He's going to give us a nice, you know, flex. You know, he's ready to like, kind of like, all right, I haven't had a miss a good scrap. I hadn't fought in a long time, but it's just nice to say, like, you know, that he was quite a rowdy in his youth, as he says, and grabs Evil Lynn's wand, which just happens to be hanging out to the side there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, dishing out some punches and left hooks, and seeing them back to back together, father and son, like that.
Yeah,
that's a cool moment right there.
I always like this shot too.
I do too. The angle of He-Man pulling back and slashing down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great piece of stock animation that's always welcomed anytime you see it.
And a good effect here once he makes contact, and you kind of see like the nuts and bolts. Spring up in the air. Yeah, you get a little more of it here as well.
Yeah, so cool. And quite proud that, you know, I guess, you know, they're just quite pleased with it. You know, like I hung it. I good to know I still have the old left hook. And then once to know if Beastman had hurt at it, I was like, no, he's fine. And another very important moment of Randor saying, like, I'm hard on my kid a lot. Mm-hmm. I really am, but I hope he knows how much I care, and that it's hard for a father to say that he loves him. You know, and I'm sure some people out there can relate to that, being able to tell a family member, your father, or anybody, a sibling,
mm-hmm.
that, you know, affection doesn't come that easy. You know,
I mean, for my own personal experience, when I was a kid, up until probably I think around the time right before I hit my teen years. Prior to that, I don't remember us saying I love you to each other that much, but I know that it definitely happened, and there was way more of affection when I was younger. As I became a teenager, most of that went away. Like, I didn't. My parents and I didn't start saying that we loved each other until I want to say it's fairly recent. I was definitely probably somewhere in my mid to late 20s when it just kind of reverted back. And I, you know, it's Randor has a point, because it is kind of, and I can't really put it into words or really explain it much, but for me, I guess it was always kind of hard to say that to other people when it wasn't like someone that I was dating. Like, to me, that was easy, but anyone else, relatives and my parents, for whatever reason, it just always felt awkward for me as I got older.
I get that.
Yeah, I'm assuming you are just the total opposite.
I was, and it wasn't like something that was beat into my head.
Yeah,
it was just something that I willingly would tell my brother that I loved him, my mom and my dad on a regular basis. I would not like leave them from anything, and no matter what it was, without telling them that I loved them. Like it was just that's just how I felt comfortable enough to just always want them to know. And it's with anybody that I care about. Like, I never want to part ways, whether it's just temporary or whatever, just without telling them, hey, I want you to know that I love you and I'm thankful you're in my life. It's just because life is short. People are taken away from us without notice. And you always want them to know that, you know, I care about you. And I always want you to know that no matter how many times I told you, I always want you to know it never stops and it never will.
I mean, admittedly, I think the first time you told me, I was taken back a little bit and just felt sort of awkward, but not really.
Well,
Yeah,
like
so
I would think about when I came over and hung out at your house for the first time, was thanking your parents for everything. And it was like, what the fuck are you doing thanking everybody for everything? What are you, some kind of moron?
Well, but because it's just, for me, all of that stuff always just, it just felt weird. But now it's not. But back then and for a little while, it was hard for me to do and to say any of that stuff. But now, much like you, anytime I visit and I leave, we say it.
I say, Nathan, I love you. He goes, fuck off.
when I talk to them on the phone, we say it because yes, you're absolutely right. You don't, if you can help it, you don't want your last interaction with someone that you care about to not have those words said, because you never know what's going to happen. So yes, there are so many scenes in this episode that are so heartfelt and important and integral.
They're enriched with emotion,
Yeah.
throughout all, even on the side of evil, as we kind of come to understand Beastman's perspective, and but when Randor's kind of confessing to He-Man, like He-Man just, sometimes it's hard for Adam to say that too. And I think their reasoning is like, I'm sure Randor has no problem telling Marlena that he loves her, but because he's constantly being embarrassed by Adam, like he wants him to be this, well-respected prince that's going to take over the throne at some point, and he's just a constant source of like disappointment and disrespect, and never telling his son, how much I appreciate you, when all he's focused on is, oh my God, my son ran out of the room when Skeletor attacked the castle. It's things like that. You're not thinking about telling your son, how much you care about. All you're reminding him is what an embarrassment you are, and criticizing him, things like that.
And that's easy to do. It's easy to look past all that stuff and only focus on certain things. I know that I do that a lot with people and how I view things. I'm not taking, sometimes I really don't take into consideration this part of it or whatever. I'm more narrowed in on and zoned, laser focused on this particular thing. So I get where the king is coming from as well. I do like the scene where Beastman say, "Not so fast," and
you're not about to spoil my my victory, He-Man. And Merman and Beastman come in with the Basher, which kind of emphasizes how big the hallways of Snake Mountain are. If the Basher can fly around inside the hallways of Snake Mountain, that's pretty fucking big. And Merman is like, he's ready to have a fucking sword fight with He-Man over this.
Yeah, he's looks pretty psycho.
Yeah, he's like, he wants to throw down, like, this is a big triumph for all of us here. You're not going to take that away from my buddy here. And He-Man puts a stop to that pretty quickly.
It gives him a good spin.
Yep, into what I'm going to call the Octobeast cage.
Yeah, and there's a little tussle there. Merman makes his way back out.
And this is a cool moment when Beastman charges with the Basher, and Randall yells out for He-Man. He grabs a hold of it, and the music, the He-Man thing kicks in. Naughty, naughty, and just heaves it up over his head like a fucking alpha male. It says, it's not nice to sneak up on people. And just throws the fucking Basher into Snake Mountain.
Because you got to have that scene that sort of shows just the strength that He-Man has and what he is capable of.
And Beastman falls into the pile of robot knights, and a fun and deserving, a slightly embarrassing manner there. You're like, oh God, And He-Man and Randor make their getaway as they get up and having a bit of a serious moment, like, oh shit, Beastman Skeletor's not going to be happy when he hears about this.
And then Beastman, having kind of regained his confidence for capturing Randor, just decides to stupidly mouth off. It's like, oh yeah, well, you wait until the next time. I'm gonna tell him, and he will know all this, and he's a fucking idiot, and da 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 da. And it's just,
as he's rambling off, Merman hears some rumbling and glances to his left, like, oh fuck. There we go.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. And this is a cool shot. Like, Beastman's just raging about, and I love those imposing shots of He-Man and Skeletor, especially Skeletor, just standing, like, you look at the back of his hamstring there and his balled up fist, like he's just sitting, waiting for the moment to just cut him down, in half. And yeah, Alan Oppenheimer's delivery of this, speech he gives to Beastman, you furry flea-bitten fool, I'll cover my throne with your hide, and you can explain all this after you clean up this mess. And you too, Merman.
Yeah, so Merman gets lumped in and having to clean all that shit up too, which sucks for him.
Yeah. So not to mention, have to clean this shit up, get dressed down at the council table, and probably in front of everybody again. Not to mention the punishment that will follow as well.
And I love the fact that, because we're not going to see any more from them in this episode because we're nearing the end of it. Just imagine the kind of conversations that they're going to be having for the next little while they're cleaning all this up.
Yeah, like thinking like Merman telling like, or Beastman's like, I'll just tell my head Randall. Like, there's no way in hell he's going to believe you actually had Randall. And then he came in here and you're like, no, I have no part of this. Like, just kind of like just doing everything he can to absolve himself from, what happened. But even in this moment, Skeletor didn't say you're going to get out or anything like that. And Beastman just says, you know what? It's kind of nice to be home. It's a good character moment for him. Like, yeah, he's one of the most evil people on the planet, but he does have a home, and it's Snake Mountain, and he's happy to be back there. And it's just cool to see him recognize how important that place is to him, even though he's been getting a lot of shit for a long fucking time.
Yep. And to finish out the episode, we get them continuing on their tour.
And Randor telling Adam that you can learn, or they're talking about how that there are no worse for wear after his encounter with Beastman, and wanting Adam, you can learn a lot from He-Man. Adam, like, I think I already have. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, and then
Nothing,
Adam,
Father.
And then Adam also kind of dropping a little hint here at the very, very end.
Do I look like the kind who would argue with someone with a good left hook? Well, no, not really. Huh? I wonder. Nah, it couldn't be.
Yeah, it couldn't be.
Yeah.
As we fade to black, and then our moral here, we have basically Orko just talking about, much as Tyler and I were discussing, about telling the people that you care about that you love them, essentially.
And that it's important that whoever it may be, you need to always remind those people that you really care about, that you do love them, because like, when was the last time you said I love you to them?
Mm-hmm.
And that it's a special kind of love, and it is.
It is.
I know there's some people who unfortunately have never got to experience that, where they've had bad childhoods or bad parents, and that was not there. Hopefully, if you didn't have a true mother and father, you had someone of an equivalent to that, where you would get that kind of care and nurturing and affection from someone who replaced the father or the mother or both, whether it's grandparents, aunts, uncles, adopted parents, or just a guardian in general. That it's important to have that kind of love and care from someone when you're growing up. And
you and I were very lucky and fortunate.
God, yeah. And I think about that a lot, because I hear stories from other kids, growing up, and as you get older, like, oh well, they didn't have that, or they came from an abusive family where drinking was rampant and drug abuse, or they just strictly didn't care and neglect.
Well, but you can also toss in there that it may be in those situations too, the I love yous were said, but with all
there
of
was
that
nothing behind, nothing to show that statement meant anything.
Yeah,
because people can just say I love you, much like saying thank you, I appreciate that, but do they really? Do the actions that they embody, do they encompass that statement wholeheartedly, or is it like a throwaway greeting card?
Yeah. So once again, you and I are very fortunate, and not only our childhoods, but also in our adult lives, still maintaining that love and closeness with our parents and people that we care about. But that was Prince Adam No More. Tyler, out of 10, I think I know the answer to this, but out of 10, what do you give Prince Adam No More?
I really had to think about this, but I'm going to give it a 20 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a perfect episode.
It's off the charts.
It is. It is.
I am very much inclined to agree. It's a mixture of everything, really. There's plenty of action scenes in it. There's a lot of heart to it, and the biggest focus here is just showing you why having that secret identity is so important in storytelling. So yes, an easy 10 out of 10, but much like we do any other time that we cover these episodes, we have to see what the Reverend had to say about it.
He comes to the podium. If only we had moments every episode when we refer to this, he comes to the podium like a Reverend would and refers back to this. And, well, one of these, we're going to dress up like a minister on our podcast at some point.
Yeah, have him dress up like Devon Dudley.
There we go.
He goes on to say, in his all too brief time working on the series, Paul Dini proved that he knew these characters better than most. What he manages to do in this particular episode is give 3 characters, Beastman, Prince Adam, and King Randor, an ample amount of screen time. We see the strained relationship between King Randor and Prince Adam beautifully scripted. By having the characters of Beastman and Prince Adam at their lowest, he delves into what makes their characters work. Not only that, he seamlessly weaves an action-adventure story amongst all of this. In the single episode, Paul Dini explores the characters more thoroughly than any other in the series, making it an instant classic. 9 out of 10. You think that would be a 10 out of 10? The way that he reviews it, it makes it sound like this is going to be a perfect score, right? But no, he only gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, still great, but why not the 10, James?
Yeah, I don't get it. We the Crimes Against Master Universe. We haven't done that in a long time. We can bring him on here with his fucked up scores.
Answer for all of these. Just I'll flip through the book. Each review, I'm like, you gave this one a 4 out of 10, and then Tyler will be like, no, that one can stay.
Yeah, that one's fine. I agree with him on that one here. But this, were you drunk eating burgers again when you wrote this? What the fuck, man? I
mean, he did say that it was a really good burger, so.
Yeah. And he must have just completely lost his damn mind and just like, but there's that one thing I don't like. I can't remember what it was. I'm too drunk. So 9 out of 10. I
mean,
what a heel.
If we're going that route, there's been plenty of times too, I think, under certain circumstances that I probably either like something way too much or not enough at all in that state to where revisiting things, I either appreciate it more or even I sit there and wonder, what was I thinking? But,
well, I mean, we've done that with, God knows I've done it with plenty of shitty movies where I'm thinking, oh my God, this is so fucking great. It's better than Batman 89.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's, Daredevil with Ben Affleck, Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, just you want to believe this because you're so excited to see it. You don't want to come out thinking like this movie's a piece of shit. And, once you get it on DVD back in the day, like, what the fuck was I thinking? I don't even drink.
Yeah. Yeah, that did happen a time or two. But Tyler,
yeah.
Let's go ahead, roll some commercials, and we'll come back and get to some of the feedback we've had on a couple of episodes. Maybe chit-chat about a few other things.
Sure.
So we will be back right after this.
Stay tuned.
Call it Master Power. Now, some guys got it, some guys don't. Thunderpunch He-Man's that kind of guy with a blast in his shoulders and fists that fly. Thunderpunch He-Man throws a punch through the air. You hear it here, but you feel it there. He's got Master Power. Now, some guys got it, some guys don't.
Got it?
New Thunderpunch He-Man with Thundercats 2 from the Masters of the U. Other action figures sold separately. From Mattel, naturally. Got it?
2,000 years ago, legends tell us werewolves plagued the Roman Empire. 1,000 years ago, there were mass slaughters of suspected werewolves. Only 200 years ago, in France, a legendary wolf-like beast killed more than 60 people. 100 years from now, what will the legends tell of today? Werewolf. Saturday night, the legend begins. Again.
It's the Joes! Where's the new Cobra Commander?
Here, with the new Cobra Pogo! Now it's in front of you, now it's behind! Raptor, let's take off and attack!
Cobra!
Joe's got trouble.
He's got it bad! Close!
Cobra's got a pogo.
And it's up in mad! Back! You and Tunnel Rat set up a slam defense!
On the run for gun.
G.I. Joe! Cobra!
G.I. Joe, American hero.
What will happen? Find out in Marvel Comics.
And we're back. The feedback that I'm going to go through is what we've received. This is just going to be kind of all over the place, but some more of it was some more comments that we got on the Slime Pit episode, and then the others were on our character spotlight of Stondar and Rock On, and your creations of other Comet Warriors, Rock Warriors,
that's cool.
Whatever you would like to call them. So let's go ahead and start off with this. Brian Clifton, Jeff Johns' Hawkman run is essentially Conan with wings. Mixed with Highlander, he is treated as the ultimate warrior.
I have always been intrigued by Hawkman, and I've read a little bit of Hawkman. I think, but just because of like trying to research the character, like he's this reincarnated character. Like I think in most of the incarnation, I think, which I'm like, what the? It's like I'm trying to figure out like, why can't he just be Hawkman, and that's it? It's not this reincarnated idea, and maybe they've done away with that. I don't know, but. I'll take your recommendation because I always loved the visual of Hawkman. Like he just this bird man with this bird helmet and these wings and fucking mace. Like, yeah, it's a great visual. So I'll take that recommendation. Check it out since I have not canceled the DC app, even though I've been reading Marvel for many months now. It's been a while since I dabbled in some DC. So.
Oh no, are you at a point where you might cancel that one again?
No. I've done it so many times. Like, you know what, the DC app works great. But like right now, I'm just, you know, I know when we did the Penguin episode, I was reading some DC around that time. But up to this point, you know, it's been mainly Marvel, or I'll read some Conan online, or you know, something else that's not available on Marvel.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I got the Jeff Johns Hawkman run saved on my DC app, so I need to get around to reading that.
Hopefully, Sir Laserlot doesn't show up in it. I'll be really upset.
Drawing by hand says here, I have a Stondar and Rock On. Great figures. Over time, they're slightly gummy and sticky. They still stand well. Great mini comic art by Larry. On comic side, have you both read the G.I. Joe Compendiums 1 and 2 yet? They are both great reads. So we both have the first volume of that.
Yeah.
And when you and I hung out weeks ago, and we were in a Barnes and Noble, you saw the second one, and I can't remember. I think you were like, I didn't even know this was out yet. So Tyler needs to pick that up.
Yeah. I've read so much that's already in the second compendium because I've read a lot of G.I. Joe books over the years anyway. You know, I just read them online, and I mean, I like to get it because it's nice to have a hard copy of that. But I probably would lean more towards a lot of the issues in the second compendium because of. Just a lot of things that happen during that run too are highly enjoyable as well. So I need to get it just so I can have it, and because I most of that run that Larry did on G.I. Joe from the very beginning to the very end, like to see a book that was treated consistently with a mature tone in every issue. You know, it wasn't like someone comes in here and fucks it up and, you know, retcons this and retcons that. And the art is consistently good throughout the entire run. Like, that's another thing, too. There was consistent quality in that book all the way to the very end. Even if when he's asked to bring in, like, things like the Eco Warriors, and I know he wasn't big on a lot of that stuff. Ninja Forces brought in the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Group. You know, I liked some of those, not the Eco Warriors, because that fucking sucked. But Cesspool was cool looking. I thought he was a cool looking villain. But I thought a lot of all that stuff, like even the artwork, was always so good. That's when people like mine and Nathan, one of our particular favorites is version 3 or 4 of Snake Eyes with the ski mask. When that is introduced in G.I. Joe, the artist, I can't remember what his name is, but he draws that version of Snake Eyes like it's unmatched with the way Snake Eyes is drawn. The shadow work that's done. When I don't know, I just wish I had some segments to like just bring up, like, you people tell me you don't like this look of Snake Eyes based on the way this guy draws it.
Hey, maybe that's something we should cover in a future Spinner Rack episode.
I think so too. But the thing is, it's so hard to find one issue of G.I. Joe that doesn't have a lot of context to previous issues. Like, it'd be more about, like, if we were doing to discuss, like, okay, why this version? Like, okay, yes, this is far from the traditional Black Commando look or the visor look, which that's my favorite look anyway.
Yeah,
but there isn't a bad version of Snake Eyes in the vintage line. Every version of him, all the way to Ninja Force, fucking kicks ass. And if you look at the way the Ninja Force version is drawn in G.I. Joe, oh my God, that looks fucking badass too, man.
Yeah, so I need to pick up the second volume of that. There's so much shit now that I have to read. Thanks to the viewers out there for always suggesting things or asking about this. If we had that, and it's always in the back of my mind that, yeah, I need to.
You and I don't think since we've broken off, we haven't done any GI Joe at all.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to double check, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we haven't. So yeah,
not an episode, not a comic book. God, at this point, you and I could do like a character discussion, like talk about the figure and read the file card and talk about moments that he appeared in the cartoon, or
I mean, it kind of at this point might not be a terrible idea if we just made like a GI Joe show too.
Yeah,
but
we because it's you and I, we don't have to worry about. Oh, gee, guys, I don't know anything about that. We don't have to worry about that shit anymore.
We'll talk about that after we've.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's something we need
because
to.
You and I, we've yet to talk Thundercats. We've done a little bit of Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like those four. Of course, we got Real Ghostbusters. That's another big one for you and I growing up as well. I mean, yeah, man, we could really do some heavy duty work. Much like the character heavy duty from GI Joe. Like,
something we'll have to talk about. But you mentioning Ninja Turtles brings me back to the comment here where Drawn by Hand was talking about Stone Darn Rock On for them being sticky and like tacky to the touch, and that made me think of some of my Ninja Turtles were prone to that. The Pee-wee figures were prone to that, but I think most of that issue was just from those being packed away and stored in a place where the temperature was constantly fluctuating.
Yeah, so they become a little gummy and very loose. Yeah,
but have you experienced any tackiness and stickiness with any of your Master Universe?
I don't think so. Of course, my Stone Door is not my original from childhood. I can't think of any of my He-Man figures right off. Mainly it's just discoloration.
Yeah.
Like some of them had just discolored over time and not from like, being packed away. It's just something that just happens.
Yeah, it's just the natural, like the oxidation of the plastic.
Yeah. I mean, like Roboto like turns purple, Extendar turns green, like his gloves and I think his boots turn green, like they're gold. But they over time they I think the one I got on the wall up here, his mitten package, but his gloves have turned green.
Yeah,
I
think the most common thing is the Super Nintendo, where that gray plastic would yellow for a lot of people too. So that's always a thing. But Gary Buchanan, love the artwork on this piece, but I'm like Nasty Nate, ain't going near my figures, too risky. Talking about the slimes.
Oh God, yeah. It makes for a great visual, and I would much rather pretend that they're dumping slime onto a Spike or a Moss Man, because I sure as shit, if I had a Moss Man as a kid, it would be nowhere near anything like that.
Yeah, and it would be a bummer to have to save up allowance again just to get another
Moss Man. And your mom's like, when you're at Hills, like, you've already got him. Like, yeah, but I made the mistake of dumping slime all over. Now look at him.
You don't understand. Or you might run into the risk of never being able to find him again.
Yeah, because eventually some of these figures would be discontinued. But I that's something I wish I could, because I felt like when I got into He-Man in '87, He-Man and Skeletor were available, because that's when I got them. Was somewhere in '87. I can't pinpoint when, but it was before Christmas of '87. So they were available. So were characters from the '85 way, like Hordak and Spikor, and then I got Fisto and Cobra Khan from the '84 wave. So come '87, Mattel must have still been churning out a lot of these already pre-made characters already abundantly. So I don't think, like much like with G.I. Joe, they were discontinued sometimes after 1 year, sometimes after 2 years. It just kind of varied, but they did not keep regular characters or core characters in circulation. But I think with Mattel, like even with the variants of He-Man and Skeletor, you still could get a regular He-Man and a regular Skeletor. Like, God, I remember seeing Beastman at that Toys R Us in Roanoke.
Yeah.
This would have been 87, right? 87. He's still on the shelf to buy, and I chose not to get him.
What did you end up going with?
I got Jackalman from Thundercats.
I mean,
Which
that's
wasn't
not
bad, but I just
no.
remember sitting in the back of the car on the way back home, like
the
oh my
regret.
God. Oh yeah.
I fucked up real
That
bad.
was the only time I saw Beastman as a child, was in a Toys R Us in my hand, and I chose Jackalman. And I'm like, what? Like, someone give me a gun.
Yeah, you
I'm gonna end it all right now.
You screwed that one up, man.
Yes, I did.
This next one, Terrell White. Tyler, are there any Vintage Masters figures that you're still missing from your collection?
Just the European releases, and I've got the Cliff Climber and the Scuba Attack, which were released overseas. But I don't have the two Giants, Megator and Titus. I don't have the Tower Tools. I don't have Laser Power He-Man and Laser Light Skeletor. And I believe that is it. I've got everything, even if I don't have everything loose. Like I have a Bionotops mitten box, but not loose. I have a Night Stalker mitten box, but not loose. I think, yeah, I got Multibot. I think, yeah, I got Multibot because at the time I didn't have Multibot loose. I had a mitten box, and I eventually got a loose Multibot. He's not complete. He's missing a couple things, but I still have him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've got pretty much everything. I got all three dinosaurs.
Is that something that you would want? Would you want any of those that you're missing?
If I had access to it, and a dealer was not, because the European releases, they're even the accessories, the Scuba Attack, Tower Tools, and Cliff Climber, they're not cheap either. Anything that was released over in Europe in that last wave that was released in '88 or part of '87 that we just didn't get. Yeah, when I got the Scuba Attack and Cliff Climber, I think I paid like $20 a piece for them. On eBay,
bad.
I think.
That's not bad, but that was what, 25 years ago?
Yeah, this was when we were,
still in high school.
And high school had just graduated, because that was a big mission of mine. And I do remember the last figure of the main line that wasn't European release I got was Bossall Hordak. And I remember, because it's a variant. It was just but it was like it's the only one I didn't have. I remember when I got it, like, oh my God, I have every figure released here in the States finally after all these years. Like it was one of those moments, like when I put it on the shelf, it didn't shimmer and shine, like, oh my God, you have completed, your mission is complete, my son. It was just like, oh my God, I did it. I still didn't have all the vehicles, of course. They were a little bit harder to come by, but it was a big deal, especially when internet wasn't as accessible for me at the time. It was like looking at ads for Brian's Toys or Final Frontier Toys and magazines and calling them up and, do you have this figure? Can I buy this? Okay, Mom, give me your credit card. I don't have this. Can you do this?
You know what? Thinking back on that, I'm kind of surprised that when you would come over to my house, you weren't, one of the first things wasn't, hey man, can I get on the computer and look at He-Man stuff?
I think by that point we had gotten a computer. So
you did, because you had Instant Messenger, you had AIM already.
Yeah, so I could go to He-Man.org all the time, and I got on eBay for the first time in 11th grade and bought Terraclaw Skeletor mint on a European card for $20, so 25 shipping.
Do you remember when I signed up for eBay and I couldn't think of a name, and you're like, yeah,
oh yeah,
you remember what it was?
Warrior.
yeah.
I was like, oh, you're Stratos, dude. You're gonna be the Winged Warrior, man. And Nathan kept that name. I don't know if he still has it today.
No, I ended up changing it. I think I changed it to a Rip Rousdower.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Rousdower.
Go to sleep, kid. You're harshing my buzz.
Yeah. This next one, Grayskull Cannon. I have the Origins, of course, but when you have both of them, you can say you have your rock collection. Waka waka waka.
Yeah, well, make sure when you say that you include the Rock Lords in your rock collection there too, bud.
There you go. Also another one, Grayskull Cannon. Check this out. Rewatching this episode, I think it would be really cool to explore that maybe the head of the slime pit might be or could have been the same head as Battle Bones within the lower context of the vintage line. Skeletor found Battle Bones. Where did Hordak get his head for the slime pit? Interesting questions. First and foremost, thank you so much for just rewatching the
Absolutely.
episode. I don't know how many people like just go back and revisit stuff that we've done, but just to see that thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, because I've done that with podcast episodes that I just enjoyed the content of what they were talking about, and would go back and rewatch over and over again because it's entertaining. So if anyone else does that, please tell us and which episodes you like to revisit from time to time if you do.
And as far as the head of the slime pit, do you have any theories for that?
I mean, hell, it could be an old T-Rex skull.
Could be.
You know, it could be a Battle Bones skull. It could, because when you look at the Battle Bones when he's brought up in the Skeletor's Dragon mini comic, it was like a series of dinosaurs. Like it was him and a mate with like the last, and his mate got killed, and he's the last roaming around. So, that species could have existed, you know, all over the planet at one point, and that skull was just or it could have been just a creature that Hordak was quite proud that he vanquished, and wants to use it as a symbol of his victory, like a trophy that he uses to, you know.
It's very similar to Vince's office where he's got the T-Rex fossil. Yeah. That's above him. Maybe it's like Vince. This one here,
telling people to stand back.
Yeah, this pertains to the UK 22 issue that went on the channel a few days ago. Casey Duncan, that was wonderfully drawn. I haven't talked with you about this, but there's one story in that one in particular that I think that you might enjoy. So maybe I'll send you just that story, the images from that one, and you can
I'll read it. And
when
we do our next one, I'll give you a review on if you want.
All right, we get the thoughts. Terrell White popping back in. Grizzlor looks like a Krite from Critters on that mini comic cover, and I went back and looked at it, and indeed he does. Oftentimes, Grizzlor was kind of drawn that way, where you look at him in the face, it's like, this looks like Critters, man.
Yeah, when you like the card back for Grizzlor alone, when he's attacking Cobra Khan on that mountain, he looks like one giant puffy critter.
Yeah. And then finally, from Mike Lomax, the Slime Pit was the only Master Universe playset I had the chance to play with. It was great. So,
hey, I didn't get to. I was denied. So it's cool to know that you. Hopefully, you didn't ruin any of your figures or your friends or whoever owned it, whether you did or not. Like, hopefully, no toys were ruined in the playtime during that.
Yeah, just
fun to imagine, like putting, you know, a character in there, and He-Man's got to run and save him before the Imaginary slime comes down.
Yeah, and that would probably be the best way to like.
Yeah,
he got out. He-Man saved the day, or He-Man gets out, or He-Man saves a character.
Or if you wanted to, take a cup of water and just pour it in there and pretend that you're pouring something on your figures, because water's not going to harm those figures.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe not so much, because the water gets inside those bands that are in there. That could help fast track them to rotting and breaking easier. So
yeah,
that could be a tendency.
Bad idea.
Yeah, but nevertheless, hey, at least you got to play with one of them and got to experience that instead of none at all, like Tyler here.
Oh, I had Grayskull and Snake Mount, but no Slime Pit, no Fright Zone, and sure as hell no Three Towers.
Well, now you got it all, so you can.
And now I have playtime all the time. I just go over here and just quite thankful. Just like looking at these things, like heavy positive sigh.
Yeah, maybe you can just start looking at buying the track pieces and just connect all of them together.
Oh my God! I mean, I have the capacity to do it in terms of road.
Do it. Yeah.
Boy, that would be something, man.
We'll see. We'll see how that might turn out.
Oh, Christmas is probably another 6 months or something like that. So,
I mean, gosh, yeah, that's weird to think about. That's not too far away.
Yeah.
I'll save because you and I had this discussion yesterday. I will save that for another episode, but I just want to just put this out there because it had been brought up. Tyler brought it up months ago, and I think some of our listeners were like, yeah, you need to check this out. I did finally watch The Penguin, and I loved it. And I loved it so much that I went back and rewatched The Batman because I had only seen it the one time prior when that was the deal still early on with COVID where it got released in theaters, but they dropped it same day on Max, if I remember correctly. Right?
Oh, I see. I don't remember. I just remember going to theaters to go see it, and like the real D version over at the mall.
Okay, I think I think they released simultaneously because we were still
Okay.
in that weird spot where they were starting to lighten up on distancing and things like that, but at the same time they put that option out there for other people to do. So I think I watched on Max. I definitely didn't go to the theater and see it, but real briefly, and I'll elaborate on it more the next time we record, but in rewatching it, because the first time around I liked it, but it has its problem. It had its problems. It still has problems, but I enjoyed it way more because the Penguin was that good, and I liked that world building that they were doing with that. So I can't wait to what they end up doing with the Batman Part 2. You and I discussed. Hopefully, we won't have as many characters, but I don't think that's going to be the case either.
No,
I think
Matt Reeves like, I gotta have this character, and I was like, dude, come on, let's have one core villain in this. You don't need to have, and no subplots with Bruce Wayne's mother having mental health problems or some bullshit like that. Like, no. And hopefully Two-Face will become an actual crime boss and not just someone who's like, where's Rachel? What about Rachel? Rachel.
No, I think that could be the thing if you want to go that route with Two-Face. He has a clash with the Penguin because, as they state, not only in the show but at the end of the Batman, now the power is up for grabs in the city.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to see the characters such as Two-Face throwing their hat in the ring to.
Now, see, if the sequel is going to make Two-Face the main villain, you would need, if you're going to do this and do it right, you're going to need a fucking 3-hour movie, because I'm sure that's what this one will be. But to establish him as buddies with Bruce Wayne as Harvey Dent, see him, become a prominent figure against crime, get scarred, loses his fucking mind. You tease the mental health problems, of course, much like the animated series did, and then have him reemerge as Two-Face and aiming to take over crime in Gotham, and stepping in on the Penguin's territory and anyone else too, and make him a fucking crime boss who flips the coin. Nope, we're not doing it. Oh, you're dead. None of this Tommy Lee Jones shit where he just flips the coin until he gets what he wants, or Aaron Eckhart just like Rachel. You hurt Rachel. I'm gonna flip the coin here. Shut up. Just whines and whines and whines. Even though Two-Face looked good in that movie, but hopefully Sebastian Shaw will be given a good portrayal of Two-Face to play.
Sebastian Stan,
whatever the fuck.
I think it's
Bucky will do Two-Face justice.
I think it's interesting that now you're seeing a lot of these Marvel actors doing DC stuff. Maybe it's just more about, all right, I'm following the paycheck wherever the money's at.
Probably so, because the DC just continues to keep bungling everything they're putting out, much like Marvel is right now. That's why they're doing the whole desperation thing with Doomsday, which I got a pretty good feeling that's going to suck balls too.
But I love this Matt Reeves Batman universe that's been created here. So I look forward to seeing the next one, and hopefully it maintains and rides that line. But I thoroughly enjoyed the Penguin.
That's awesome, dude.
It was everything.
Colin Farrell does a phenomenal job as him, dude.
The makeup is so good in that I don't even look at it. I'm like, that's Colin Farrell.
It's very easy to
he got lost in that role, man.
Yeah,
like it was good. It was heartbreaking at points,
and fucked up at certain points.
So yeah, I'm glad that I finally sat down and checked that out, because as I said, it was everything that you and our friend Josh had talked about. Just, you gotta watch it. It's really good. So
yeah,
good shit all around. But Tyler, let's go ahead and get out of here. I hope everyone enjoyed us discussing Prince Adam No More. Give us your rating down below. Leave us a comment if you haven't done so. Like this video, subscribe. That'll help us out quite a bit. And until later, let the power return.
What are you doing? What do you do when you're not flying planes? I deliver laundry. Maybe you crapped out flapping your lips about hoagie.
What? Oh man.
He likes swimming, he likes gambling. Christ, don't bother me. What do you know about hoagie? He's after my mother.
Nope.
See if I can give you another one here. You've seen this and you like this. We've talked about it. Let's see if I can give you one.
Have I only watched it once, or is it something I've
No,
watched
not
plenty
once.
of times?
No. In fact, you own the poster of this movie, I think. I think you do.
Oh God! All right.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, but is it framed in my house currently?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
You told me you did. Maybe you swapped it out.
Fuck.
But I remember where you told me you put it. So. Here it is. Come and get me, you son of a bitch.
Oh, God damn it. Oh.
I can give you one last clue.
Okay.
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah.
No, all right. So I yes, do have the poster. Yes, it is visible in the house. But also same time, I've only watched Jaws the Revenge I think 3 times.
Okay. Well, that's not once. I thought you were going to say just once.
Mm-mm. No, the first time was a long time ago, and then the second time was probably like 4 or 5-ish years ago, and then the last time I think was 2 years ago because I put it on around Christmas time.
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah.
It's a summer movie and also an appropriate Christmas movie.
Yeah, because it takes place during the holiday season. But yeah. So you watched the first Jaws, you watched the documentary, and then you were like, fuck it. And then you watched Jaws 2 and then Jaws Revenge, and you're not going to touch 3 because you don't even own that one, right?
No, not anymore. No. I only had it on DVD, and I only kept it to complete the collection. And I love the DVD menu music on that DVD. It's a very odd thing, but the DVD music for Jaws Revenge and Jaws 3 was really good. It was kind of very creepy music. And that was the main reason I kept those for the longest time. Like now I've got Jaws Revenge on Blu-ray. I got rid of that because I upgraded to 4K. And when I was just cleaning out stuff, like, man, I just don't have any desire to watch Jaws 3. I can always watch.
It's too boring.
It's boring as shit. It looks bad. And I don't care for the cast in it. Like I like Lou Gossett in it. He's good in it. And Manimal, he's good in it too. Simon McCorkindale.
And the idea is great.
The idea is fucking brilliant, and like this could have been a juggernaut of a movie, but it's just so slow paced. It's poorly shot. The 3D doesn't work. Of course, I've heard people say that when it came out in theaters back in '83, it looked good in 3D. Much like watching Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, that was cool. So, but it's a great concept, and much like the sequels go, the kills, the shark attacks get less and less with each movie, and very few people get eaten in Jaws 3, and which is in a Jaws movie, you kind of expect, chaos to be ensuing, like big ass mother sharks loose in SeaWorld. You expect people to be eating all over the place. And poor Leah Thompson, in her first shot in the movie, she gets attacked by Jaws, and it's just like this, fabric softener goes off in the water. And she just gets her leg, cut open pretty good. But it looks like it sneezes fabric softener in the water.
Yeah.
When you watch that sequence, but I remember asking her about it. She said that was the first scene she shot, is her being attacked by Jaws in the bumper boat area.
She seemed to have fond memories of that, right?
Yeah, she did, because she went over and spoke to Joe Alves, the director who was the production designer on 1 and 2. And it was just cool to see them reunite with the guy that directed the first movie she ever did. So I took a picture of the two of them together.
While they were talking, yeah. Who was the guy that was like, oh, you got to read the book, man?
Oh, that was Carl Gottlieb. He was the screenwriter on 1 and 2, and which very prominent person in the movie, but he clearly was not there to interact with fans. He wanted to push the book he had made. Not the Jaws log, but another book about Jaws. And I just wanted to ask him about, you were with me that day. I had lost my fucking mind being around this whole cast of Jaws. I couldn't contain my excitement, and he wasn't too interested. I got to talk to Susan Backline, who got eaten, Chrissy, and Jeff Kramer, who played Deputy Hendricks, and they were all happy and enthused. And Roger Castell, who painted the Jaws poster, they were all excited and enthusiastic to talk about with everything and everyone, but Carl not so much, which is unfortunate because when you see him in the documentaries, he's always enthusiastic to talk about Jaws. Like he's very, and I wanted to ask him more about like how'd you guys decide that Quint was going to be eaten on the boat as opposed to being pulled down under, and I got a very lackluster response.
Yeah, you gotta check out the book.
Yeah,
kid.
check out the book. I'm like, damn it, man! Like, I'm paying you for your autograph. I'm here to tell you how much I'm thankful for what you did. You're like, nah, kid. Go away. You bother me.
Yeah, spend some more money. Read
it's just
book.
like, and I spent a fortune at that.
I know you did.
Yeah,
because they had them in their own little hallway too.
Yeah, it was the Jaws setup with like the memorabilia, like the actual like Quint's harpoon gun. One of the barrels was there. Greg Nicotero had done like this. I think he's the one that did it. It was a mock-up of the original Jaws cast of Bruce that was on display. That you took a picture of me, and Roger Castell's wife yelled at you, "Hey!"
Yeah,
and you went, "He paid for it."
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, because it was a photo op. Like you could come up and take pictures with it. You couldn't just do it for free.
He paid for the damn shit.
Yes. Now I got to deal with it.
Don't you cuss me.
But that was funny because you said it so calmly. He paid for it.
I forgot all about that.
But yeah, we met Danny Glover, the same one with the Jaws crew, and Leah Thompson, man.
Oh, yeah, and I got to jump in on your photo with Danny Glover because initially I was just gonna hang back, and the dude that was there was like, "You want to jump in the picture?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yeah, sure,
I didn't pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and Gary Busey was there too, man.
Out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, yelling at people. Hey, tell these people they can't take pictures now.
Yeah.
Getting to hear Gary Busey yell in our presence was pretty fucking cool, man.
It was funny. It was funny. Once Tom had mentioned when we spoke with him, we just got to have an episode about conventions here pretty soon. But I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for your time.
Great. Guy shows up looking like a mime from hell, and you lose him right out in the open. Well, at least didn't do that. Walking against the wind, shit, I hate that.